Welcome back to Spiritual Tea, our space for discussion about wisdom, but also the unfiltered truth and keeping it real and raw, okay, about spirituality and how that process works. I do have my laptop on the side here. I am Anjali, also Third Eye Ange, and your host. And today, we're going to be peeling back the layers of a topic that I talk about pretty often with my friends, and with the people that I love and with people I don't know. Okay, so let's get our tea. Okay, and we're going to be talking about spiritual bypassing and why it's become one of the most dangerous parts of the spiritual journey and the modern wellness culture. Okay, so if you've ever been told to just raise your vibration and think positive thoughts or stay positive, trust the universe, while you were going through some trauma, grief, or something negative, or just burnout, this episode is for you, and it brings a little bit of understanding. And this might ruffle some feathers, but it's really not about judgment. It's really about coming back to the real meaning and embodiment of what it means to be in healing or healing. Okay, so let's get into it. Cheers. So, what is spiritual bypassing, right? So, by definition, spiritual bypassing is when we use spiritual beliefs, language, or practices to avoid dealing with difficult emotions, trauma, or truths. Now, what does that sound like? Okay, so we have some examples here. So, when someone says everything happens for a reason, when someone is grieving or when you're grieving, don't speak that into existence when someone is expressing fear or anxiety, or you're attracting this because you're not healed yet. Okay, so sometimes it comes from a good place, and I think most of the time it comes from a good place, or from people that want to help, right? But often what it causes is like a spiritual guilt or shame to the person that's feeling the bad feelings or the negative feelings, right? And that's not what healing is. That's not what we're taught healing is, as a person that decides to take on one of these modalities and give them to the world. That is not what this is about. So when we're talking about that, that's kind of like repression. It's repressing the feelings. It's not exposing how you really feel. It's not being true or authentic. And if you see this little baby here, it's Simba. And so let's unpack that a little bit. Okay. So, where does this show up? So let's be honest, spiritual bypassing is everywhere. It's online, it's in your yoga studios, it's on astrology pages, it's in your horoscope, it's kind of everywhere, okay? And in the manifestation community, even in coaching and therapy spaces, you can see it when your coaches tell you to affirm your way out of deep trauma, or your friends avoid conversations by saying I'm not in that frequency, or I'm not in that vibration anymore, or when people skip shadow work and call it detachment, and they're just kind of like, oh yeah, don't know. So now, what is the harm in this, right? So the harm is it silences people. The harm is your throat chakra is not active. The harm is that you yourself really don't know how you feel, because you haven't given yourself a chance to process the pain that you've been feeling, right? So what ends up happening is the pain becomes louder over time, and that is genuine, and that is a sincere reaction to healing and what that can look like. So why does this happen? Why does spiritual bypassing happen, or the overlooking happen, or the pretend like it didn't happen, right? Why does that happen? So a A lot of us do the spiritual bypassing because pain is uncomfortable. And if you know anything about discomfort or being uncomfortable, most people try to avoid it. In that, we don't always have the tools to sit with the pain, and society trains us to hustle past the grief and the trauma and kind of be in this survival mode that kind of dictates where you are on your healing journey because you don't have time to think about it. And at the end of the day, labeling everything as negativity just because you don't want to face it is a disrespect to yourself and to everyone around you and to God. Okay. So again, if you watch the last video, real growth and spiritual healing is not aesthetic. Sometimes it's messy, sometimes it's loud and chaotic, but it doesn't mean you're broken. It means that you're actually healing. Okay. Now, what's the difference between a spiritual practice and avoidance? So there's a fine line between using your spiritual tools to support your healing and using them to escape humanity and your actual genetic makeup of what's going on. So healthy spirituality says, I'm feeling anxious, I'm going to meditate to center myself. Bypassing spirituality says, I'm anxious, but I'm not claiming that energy, so I'm going to pretend that I'm fine. Okay, so the difference is honesty with yourself and the people around you, honesty with your being, honesty with your energy, and honesty with what is going on around you and being authentically aligned. And there's a lot of talk about what is authentic these days in general. Okay. So some reflection questions for you here are, am I using this ritual to connect or to numb? Do I give myself permission to grieve, rage, or rest? And am I afraid people won't see me as high vibrational if I'm honest about how I'm feeling? Now, someone may ask, so how are you supposed to heal without the bypassing? So here are some ways to stay spiritual and stay real as you're healing. Okay. So number 1, name your feelings out loud. Even if they're low vibe, okay, or low vibrational, the truth is sacred. And the truth is the first step, or admitting is the first step. And then we can get out of this place and go on to the next thing. Number 2, make space for your shadow work. Journal, scream, let your inner child be free and expressive. Okay. Number 3, use rituals to support your healing journey and not as solutions. Okay. Only God can provide the solution. So when I say sage and, baths and things of that nature, these are supplemental tools to help assist you on your healing journey, not to replace therapy or grief or accountability. Okay. Let's not be delusional. Let's be solutional. And at the end of the day, this is not about just solving the problem. It's actually about processing and uncovering and understanding the problem at the root, so we no longer have this problem or these problems anymore. Number 4, surround yourself with people who can hold space for you, who understand. Healing needs witness. And healing needs support and community. So allow yourself the space to be around people that give you the space to be human. And number 5, let your spirituality be messy. And by term of messy, I mean not what is ordained or taught to you by doctrine, but really allow your spiritual journey to be most and foremost connected to God. And God loves you no matter what, how, when, and where, or if there even is a mess or not. God is unconditional. So spiritual bypassing is a seductive, sexy thought. Okay, it promises a shortcut to peace, but the real medicine is in the middle of the mess, the triumph, the trauma, the experience. You're not failing if you're feeling. You're not off your path because you're in pain. You're not less spiritual because you need space to scream instead of meditate. This is the path. And this is the work. Okay, so if this episode made you feel any type of way, this is just our little spiritual tea that we like to do. Okay, I'd love to hear about it. If you have anything to share or say, I would love to share space with you and help you get through this time, because we all need community and we all need support. If this episode reminded you of something that you want to share, please share. I would love to hear more. I love to be the community support that you may need. Until next time, keep it real, keep it sacred, keep it abundant, and just know I'm here with you. I'm here to support you. Healing can be messy, and that is perfectly fine. That's the beauty in it. I look forward to sharing more space with you. I love you so, so much. Mwah. Bye.